right. Welcome to Gen X-Rated Saturday edition. What's up, Billy?
Not too much. Just enjoying the beautiful fall day. It really is. It's a gorgeous day.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
I'll take it. I like the heat, but the sunshine does make me happy.
Oh yeah, and it's like, it's maybe like 70 degrees. There's a nice breeze and it's not humid.
Yeah, no humidity. It's really what fall is going to be all about, buddy.
Well, yeah, a little bit of fall in the air. So it's nice. It's a nice change after the miserably hot summer we had.
Yeah, and no crazy weather. That would also be really nice at this point.
That'd be really nice.
Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy Saturday.
Very busy Saturday, but I'm happy to take a break and join you today.
Maybe vent a little bit.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
So there's a few things to catch up with this Saturday. I'm sure everybody's excited. 2 straight days of football, which was pretty impressive from Brazil.
Yeah,
And
I thought YouTube did a pretty good job with like the production value, and Rich Eisen does a really nice job commentating. I loved his far right comment on Butker and his
that
missed
was
kick.
awesome. Yeah, and I'm not a Chiefs hater, but I will say that it was no displeasure seeing them not win. I mean, I think they were 15-1, Mahomes anyway, against the Chargers. I mean, that almost guarantees you when you're crushing your division, a home championship game in your conference. I get tired of seeing that. Maybe they should play on the road and really challenge themselves. It was the same with New England when they pounded the Eastern Division. They'd crush the Jets, they'd crush the Dolphins, they'd crush the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, you got 6 guaranteed wins there pretty much, and that's you always end up with home field advantage. And when you're at home, you can shut off the opposing team's headsets. You can do whatever you want to,
Yeah,
allegedly.
absolutely. Get your favorite officiating crew out there. And
Hmm.
again, Chiefs are a really good team. Don't get me wrong, but it was
Oh, super good team.
Chargers played a really good game, and travel's never easy, even to Brazil. But they made it
Yeah,
work.
playing on a Friday night, and I guess it was like a 9 o'clock kickoff there.
Yeah,
So yeah, a whole lot of weird elements thrown into that. And watching it, I mean, the production value was good, but it was almost like watching a preseason game. It was weird. And then they had like the long extended halftime, like you have with the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Just it was really odd. I mean, just I don't know, man. Friday night is for football, is for high school. It's not for the NFL.
exactly. And there used to be laws about that too. There was a reason why the NFL couldn't play on Saturdays
Hmm.
because of college football. So I don't know. They want to take their brand global. I just don't get it. I don't know what the big draw is in England and such. Playing and what Ireland this year, the Steelers will be. And I
Hmm.
know that obviously Steeler love, but my point is, you take two teams like last night in Brazil. What's the tie-in between Kansas City and San Diego to Brazil?
Well, I mean, Kansas City had a lot of fans. I mean, the NFL's it's incredibly popular around the world, and Kansas City gets a lot of exposure. So of course, a lot of people were there rooting for them. But you saw like people wearing all kinds of different jerseys. It's just it's really popular. But and the NFL is just a money making machine. Of course, they're going to expand and make as much as they can. The
Yeah,
owners are into it. And,
but at a certain point now, I've lost my team from wherever has lost a home game because they're playing overseas.
yeah,
Now we want to expand on that and maybe even put a team into London, which has been the talk the past couple of years. Now maybe I'm losing two home games. Granted, they want to bust out that schedule to 9 home games, but my point being, what's the tipping point that your local fans start to feel that too, right? Like, uh,
yeah,
I'm just another ticket holder as opposed to this is my team. I just don't know.
yeah. I don't know. The NFL doesn't care.
You're
Um,
right.
as long as you're throwing your wallet at them, they're not that interested.
It's a good
Um,
point.
So yeah, I don't know. It's incredible how much it's changed. I mean, we grew up watching the NFL of the 70s and 80s and even in the 90s, but in some respects it's gotten better with free agency. I mean, you're seeing, players have more say in where they play, which is I think it's a good thing. It's good for
Yeah.
the players. It's tougher to put together a dynasty, so more credit to the Chiefs for what they've done in the free agency era. That's a tough one. Um, But yeah, I think there is kind of more of a disconnect. You grow up in Pittsburgh, especially during the heyday of the Steelers, and that's your team. You feel like you have a say-so in what they do, and you have a right to complain about them, but nobody else better. You just grow up with those guys.
When you could run into the owner walking across the north side of the stadium.
Yeah, or you run into Rocky Blyer on Bourbon Street, and he lets you try on his Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, it was a pretty good connection for sure.
Good connection. I mean, I ran into Mean Joe Green one time because they used to have their practice field over by the school I was going to, and giant dude, a giant man. And I made the mistake of being flippant with him. I'm like, "Hey, Mean Joe, you know what time it is?" Because I didn't know what else to say to him. He's like, "Excuse me." I'm like, "You know what time it is, Mr. Green?" It's 3:30, son. And he shook my hand. The guy, just a giant hand, but just it was awesome, man. It's Joe Green.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, I think I saw yesterday that 50% of the sales to the Jets game tomorrow are Steeler fans. So they travel well. That city's a little bit different, but say you're in Jacksonville, you've had a fairly new team for a few decades, and then all of a sudden they're playing 2 games over in Scotland or something. I mean, I don't know. It just takes some of the bonding and the branding away from your city, which could be weird. But again, to your point, money, 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 money.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I was listening to Bill Simmons and the Rewatchables did Rollerball, the 1975 version. And the teams were global. You had the Rome versus Pittsburgh matchup where they weren't calling any penalties, and everybody died except one guy. I mean, the game went global, and it seems like the NFL is kind of going in that direction.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird, but it's a global economy now. Although we're doing our best under this new regime to fucking pull ourselves out of it. But nonetheless, and Trump likes to complain about the NFL. You can't really hit him like they used to. Good old football. It's like, dude, you never even strapped on the jock strap. What the fuck do you know about anything?
Yeah, really. Fake tough guy. We love that.
Fake tough guy. But I mean, you've been on the sidelines, spent a lot of time on the sidelines watching these guys play, and it's a vicious game.
Yeah.
I remember Bobby Hebert one time coming off the field. He's like, I feel like I've been in 20 car wrecks.
Well, and we've talked about this before, the sound of like Ironhead running over a safety. It's just like, yeah, it's hard turf and all, but you could hear the contact. You could hear just, it was something.
You could almost feel it from the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. It really was. I mean, just the level that these guys play at, it's really hard to believe unless you see it from the sidelines. Just the size and the speed of that game and the way these guys play it, it's amazing.
Well, and you almost sound like a fanboy as we describe it, but it really gets the guys going. Okay, like a hit like that, and you'll see these giant men looking like kids getting up on their tippy toes, like thinking it's hilarious. It was like,
oh yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah, and it's hard to watch now sometimes because the toll that it takes. The list of guys that we've known that we worked with that have passed on or have had problems, and
For sure.
it's tough to watch sometimes. And it's amazing that these guys can go through that and do it week after week after week. I mean, after the first day of pads in training camp, nobody's healthy.
Yeah.
You you walk through the locker room, you see like the bruises, you see the ice packs, you see the training room, and you see the injury list every week getting longer and longer and longer. And these guys get out there and they do it week after week. And it's pretty incredible, but they definitely pay a price.
I mean, Gene talked about pulling himself out of bed on Monday morning, crawling to get to the toilet. I mean, it's a brutal sport. I'll only say that it'd be nice if the league took care of these guys instead of treating them like disposable objects. But
yeah, lifelong health care and guaranteed contracts.
Okay, well,
not like you can't afford it.
Well, for sure in that group, but let's relate that to like our citizenship now. You're not getting anything. You're not getting paid nothing.
We're going to cut the minimum wage. In fact, you're getting overpaid.
And you're not getting health care.
Yeah. It's a microcosm of society.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
All sports are.
Yeah, true. Well, to that point, let's jump to the fake tough guy. I don't want to go into the money just yet. This is the new Department of War that we're going to all be talking about so much because it makes this sound tough. and really cool.
Jesus.
We talked about this the other day, that he's putting it out there. Here's an old school one, United States War Department. They made a 90-minute production of this. Hegseth read what seemed like a haiku.
He looked like he was drunk, and it looked like an SNL skit.
Well, he was definitely reading, just to get those two words together that sounded tough.
War fighters.
War fighters. So in the end, and we had mentioned this, it's an executive order for Hegseth to be able to petition Congress, who makes these changes, to suggest this idea to them. So at the end of the day, after a 90-minute press conference and then 7 hours of fluffery on Newsmax and Fox, it turns out it's really just a nickname. It's a nickname. Like, hey, Jimmy Pants or whatever. Nickname.
Yeah.
So we're not really the, Department of War. It just was a giant waste of time. So they asked him, how much is it going to cost? And Trump said, he's not new to rebranding. It won't be too expensive, but no price. So no answer to that.
Yeah,
but
typical
we're going to start with changing the name on letterhead. As we run out of letterhead, we'll start printing it up then. So napkins, jackets, keychains. They even use the word tchotchkes.
Get your War Department salt and pepper shakers.
I mean, I guess he's getting a cut of that too. But
I'm sure he's probably setting up. He's got somebody in the printing industry that is going to get all that business.
The best stuff.
That's like if you ever look at those old Nazi propaganda films, they had swastika flags everywhere. The printers were making fucking mint.
Yeah, had to be a buddy.
I'm sure.
So we're looking at 700,000 facilities around the world that you're rebranding. 40 countries, all 50 states that you're going to be changing the seals on. Just the seals alone. Giant waste of time, makes no sense, changes nothing.
Yeah.
And while you're enamored with this crazy, amazing, cool nickname, the U.S. Department of Defense is no longer funding programs that train and equip militaries in Eastern European countries that would be on the front line of any conflict with Russia. Like, we're off that. Why this enamorment with Russia? Why are we so beholden to this guy? Any thoughts?
My guess is that Putin does have the Epstein files, the unredacted version, and I think that's a pretty good bargaining chip with Trump. I think he's got that. My guess is everybody that talked about the vaunted P tape. It was not urine; it was P as in pedophile.
I think you're absolutely right.
So I'm guessing, that Comrade Putin's got quite a bit on Comrade Trump, and he's holding that over his head because this is ridiculous. It's just fucking insane. I mean, now they're coming out and claiming that Trump was an undercover agent.
Yeah, Fox News really ran with that one. I mean, you can't even make that stuff up. I mean, really?
Yeah, sexually, having sex with children because doing it for the FBI, it's my duty to go undercover. It's like, what the fuck? Who believes this shit? Who is buying into this? You'd have to be half a brain, have to have had half your brain sheared off.
Shit all stupid.
Shit all stupid. There's no shortage of that, I guess. But
well, and the person that made that comment was Speaker Johnson. And I don't know if you saw, but after that big fluff fest with the billionaires, Mar-a-Lago had a little get together. And who was at the table with them?
Was it Speaker Mike Johnson, head sycophant?
You make a great comment like that, you're going to get to that big boy table. And he did. Kennedy was there.
Don't forget to gargle the balls.
Always. Well, he's kind of an expert on that.
Yeah.
So not a problem there. I just find it, a giant, again, waste of time and money. Like we're okay with spending money on that rebranding of something that doesn't even matter. But we don't want to spend on education. We don't want to spend on healthcare. Stephen Miller came back out and said, hey, education, we're going to give money to the states to help with education, to educate about, patriotism in America and American values. And none of that sounds like math, science, or English.
No, it sounds like mass indoctrination, like they did with the young Soviet clubs, the young communists, the young pioneers, I think they called them, and the Hitler Youth, and uh, the the students during Mao's People's Revolution that murdered their teachers and parents.
Whoa.
That's a slippery slope.
It sounds a little like it's going to be a challenge for this guy. Speaking of which, I'm going to put this up because this was the Rose Garden. Last night was his first official party, and I do want to reiterate that the White House is a national landmark.
Yeah. You don't live there, buddy. You're just renting. You don't get to turn it into your own private version of Mar-a-Lago. And now you're naming it, what is it, Club Trump? We called it.
Club Trumpy Bear.
I mean, this is the people's house. This is not yours.
This looks very similar. You can see Mar-a-Lago's patio compared to the White House. I think he got a pretty good deal on those umbrellas because, of course, he did.
Of course.
This is the old White House garden. If it wants to pop up, we'll see. Right off the official historical website. I mean, look how pretty that was.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. It's not anymore.
No.
It got an extreme makeover, and it looks terrible. I mean, those are pavers, and
yeah, it looks like shit.
I don't even understand. We're just going to hold parties there, and we basically know who comes to these parties. He had all the tech bros there the other night. It was the grand opening where he had GOP only, and a lot of people are comparing it to the fact that this is really what you're getting. This is the playground for the oligarchs. They're all about enriching themselves and basically taking away our health care. So we can't feed you, but last night they were dining on steak and ceviche. And you had Tim Cook, I believe the president calls him Tim Apple. Zucker was there, Gates was there. And it was interesting because they all went around the room and basically blew Trump, said how amazing he was.
Yeah, and then Zuck forgot his lines.
Well, Zuck came up with his own line. He said they're going to be investing $600 billion between now and 2028, I believe, maybe 29. But then he got caught on a hot mic telling Trump, hey, I really didn't know what number he wanted me to say. And then Trump's such a dumb ass that he's telling Melania what he said. Oh, he said he wasn't sure what number he wanted me to say. It's like, okay, now you're busted. The whole thing's a lie. Zuck's lying as he's building his, fortress in Hawaii that none of you are welcome to.
Yeah, it's fucking compound. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is just fucking ludicrous, and frankly, it's offensive.
It's extremely offensive. I'm going to read you some numbers. This is Musk's worth in 2012. This is all these guys' worth in 2012 and today. Musk was worth $2 billion in 2012. He's worth $436 billion now. Obscene. In fact, Tesla wants to give him a bonus to keep him around of it's like $500 billion, which would put him as the first trillionaire. That should be grounds right there for having your head separated from your neck, but we'll talk about that another time. Bezos, 2012, was worth $18 billion. That's a lot of money. Now he's worth $244 billion. Zuck, 2012, he was worth $17.5 billion. Today, he's worth $257.8 billion. And lastly, just so you know that we're keeping with inflation, federal minimum wage in 2012 was $7.25. You want to take a guess as to what it is today?
$7.25.
You're good. You're paying.
They want to lower that because you know what? You people have had it too good.
Yeah. Well, now that we can get these students that are anywhere from 14 to 16 years old and they're allowed to work 9-hour days, 54 hours a week. This is in Idaho. If you're 14 and 15, you can work a 9-hour day. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
You don't need to go to school. Get you a slaughterhouse job. It's going to be good for you. It builds character.
Now, these are violations of federal laws, but I don't see the feds, especially with this Department of Justice coming into Idaho to tell them that they can't put these kids into meatpacking plants or slaughter.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
So good luck. But I will say this, unemployment for 16 to 24-year-olds right now is at 10.5%.
Yeah, nobody wants to work.
Nobody wants to work. Well, we found out 2 days ago that we have more job we have more people looking for work than we do jobs. So
Yeah, I mean, some of these kids could be competing with their parents for jobs. I mean, that's a scary thought. This is just it's not sustainable. It's
yeah,
just not. And then you're cutting, resources to the state. So people that are losing their jobs are going to lose their company health care, right? And maybe you get a severance package. You probably don't. You're going to go through your savings pretty quick if you don't have a spouse that works whose insurance plan you can get on.
better hope those kids don't want to go to college. And if you have aging parents, forget about it.
Yeah, and you better hope nobody gets sick because you're going to have a hard time with healthcare. And here's something, now they're cutting the state's Medicaid's program.
What's the one in Missouri called?
Blue, I can't think of it.
It's not called Medicare, that's for sure.
No, it's not called Medicare. I mean, they call it something else, but it's still Medicare.
Sure. Rainbow
And
Health or whatever.
it's a good program. It helps people. I mean, not everybody, tying healthcare to your job is and it's been like this for generations, but it's a tricky proposition, especially in a cratering economy, which is, make no mistake, it's tanking. They're cratering this thing between the tariffs and just the general mishandling. So, you're going to have a lot of desperate people. This is just not sustainable. And here's the whole thing that's so galling about it. This was just done on purpose. There was no need for this. There wasn't a worldwide depression. This is some maniac, a fucking demented, toxic narcissist deciding to call these shots and a party going along with them.
Yeah. All of them except for 4. As
This
you can
is
see by
insane.
the releasing of the Epstein files, all of the Republicans are in line. And they compared it to Nixon. When Nixon started breaking laws, people started bailing. People actually went to jail, and they got rid of him. This guy feels like he's above the law. His people think for some reason, because he's got Bondi, that he's above the law. But this stuff tends to come back around. The reality sets in.
Yeah, and reality, like the movie title, Reality Bites.
Well, I hope it bites soon. These people just keep putting their narrative on mass media, Newsmax and Fox, all the supporters. They talked about how job numbers weren't good, but just wait, we'll revise them with the right person this time.
Yeah, the guy that'll just rubber stamp whatever number we say.
We'll just tell him. And that guy has, I think the guy they hired was like some unemployed loser.
Trump's Gardner.
But he does listen well. So he's in.
He does what we tell him.
And then you have the excuse, well, we kicked out 2 million illegals. So, of course, we're going to have less workers. Undocumented workers don't count on unemployment. That's not part of the equation. Jesse Waters doesn't seem to know what he's talking about. Then he turns around and says, yeah, but all those jobs now are all Americans. It's Americans working, which again, it's less Americans working and more losing their job. And here's something. Well, you got a problem with eggs? Now we're buying eggs from Russia.
Do they come with another little egg inside that egg?
I don't know. Inside of an egg, inside of an egg.
Yeah. Yoke's on you, buddy.
I mean, it's just crazy that we're still supporting this dictator from another place. A couple more on the business side of it. ConocoPhillips is going to have significant layoffs. This isn't thanks to Texas. Good luck with this. Rising costs and falling oil prices. 25% of their company will be fired or laid off. Not sure which it's going to be just yet, but that's a lot.
That is a lot.
They're a big oil company, and to lose 25% is pretty great. We talked about the Arkansas farmers the other day. I feel badly for them, but apparently 64% of them voted for him, and you kind of get what you ask for. A third of them will be bankrupt by next year. That's a given. They would like some government money. So it's socialism when you want it.
They'll buy your family farm at rock bottom prices and maybe give you a minimum wage job working on what used to be your farm.
No subsidies, please. I just can't have it. You voted for it, so now you got to kind of suck it up. I'm sorry people aren't buying your product. I'm sorry the president doesn't care, but I didn't vote for him, so it's hard for me to really feel too badly about it.
Yeah, it's just really fucked up. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Well, these guys weren't really sure, but they did go into a prayer session. Um, I'm not sure if that's going to help, but listen, I feel bad for them. I know they're all hardworking people, but you really bought the shit sandwich, toasted it, and then ate it. I can't take that taste out of your mouth. You chose to eat it, and now it's yours.
Yeah.
We're all suffering too. I mean, my vegetable prices are off the charts high.
Oh, it's fucking insane.
I'm not eating Russian eggs, so that's a problem. But yeah, it's just the whole thing's kind of a mess. I will say cost per kilowatt, because we talk so much about electricity, we talk so much about AI. Melania was giving a speech on it the other day, talking about. She kept saying robots. I forget what she was trying to say, but
She did get the genius visa.
Einstein Award winner, speaks 7 languages. Apparently, English isn't one of them, but the other ones, I'm sure she's fluent.
I know what language she's fluent in.
Yes, that probably comes with a visual you shouldn't be doing.
I know.
Lastly, I just want to talk about on that front, the cost per kilowatt, because that's all they talk about is electricity. We need it for AI. We're gonna take all your water. We're gonna take all your energy resources. But in 1980, it was 0.05 cents, and it seems to go up. 20 years later, 2000, it was at 0.09. 2010, it was at 0.12. So we're going up a little bit. Today, it's at 0.19. And the way that it's taking off is just not going to be sustainable. You just can't depend on electricity only to be generated, especially if it's going to these mass data machines just to do what? To be the world leader? I mean, we're already behind. We're still working on concepts with this guy, as opposed to anything that we're actually doing. Then they say, oh, all this manufacturing that's coming in, oh, the Lutnick, just more lies and gaslighting. All this manufacturing, they're building these factories. It's going to be great. Well, here's a couple of gents from South Korea that came in, and they're building a facility in Georgia. Well, that's great, but they had some representatives come to town, and I guess the stakeout was with the ICE. They've been looking at this place for a couple weeks. Now here's what happens. Boom. They come out on a Thursday. They round up 475 people. Illegals, I'm sure.
That's insane.
In fact, some of them were citizens of South Korea. So South Korea was kind of like, you asked us to build here. We come to check our progress and you arrest us. Like, what are we doing here? So you can build these facilities. Somebody's going to get paid to build them. Nobody's working in them. And if you're waiting for that factory job in a decade, they'll be onto something else. And this guy will probably be long gone. It's kind of how it works. So very disheartening that even when somebody does decide to manufacture something in this country, that this is how we treat them. That won't be sustainable. And I'm sure they're not thrilled by the progress either.
Oh, I'm sure not. But we don't really have any allies anymore. We're just more or less aligned with Russia. And we're on our own, man. We're cutting everybody off. We don't need anybody. It's insane. Dude, we're being led by a madman, a guy whose brain is just turning to mush in front of our very eyes with his fucking swollen cankles and his fucking shitty ditties that nobody can even stand the stench of this dude. And, he disappeared last week, right? And now they've got him hopped up on prednisone and Adderall and God knows what else. And they can trot him out there for these 90-minute bullshit fests. This is just, I don't even know how to describe it anymore. This is so fucked up. It's beyond description.
90 minutes to 3 hours, depending on what he has to say, which generally is
weaving. I start off in one thing and I go on to something else. You're not weaving, you're rambling, Peepaw.
Yeah. And most people aren't understanding what he's saying. But if you're part of this crew, then you just go along with it. And you just pump them up. And then you get invited to the big boy table, which is awesome.
Yeah, at the new Club Trump that used to be the White House Rose Garden, which was the people's house, but now it's Trump's house. Apparently this guy does not plan on leaving.
Well, let's put that up again. You can see Bassett is there on the left. I'm hoping maybe some other celebrities you might recognize. There's Bassett on the left. That looks like Gates, but he's far too big to be Gates.
A lot of familiar facelifts.
Yeah, these are all GOP members. I don't really know who they are, but
Oh, it was GOP night at the club.
that's what it was. Absolutely right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it's
not getting invited
insane.
if you're a Democrat. Okay.
This is the fucking White House. This is not Trump's private playground, but he seems to think it is, and he's being allowed to get away with it.
That ballroom sounds like it's going to be awful.
Oh God, everything that guy touches is awful.
It's pretty true and horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
To that point, the Kennedy Center right now, ticket sales are so poor. The Stuttgart Ballet is performing in the Opera House in front of 4% of capacity.
I feel sorry for the performers.
Me too, and I feel badly for the legacy. I think it's horrendous what they've done, all based on him wanting to put his name on something. Um, I mean, this guy's so out of touch that even when he speaks out to the Rose Garden, he's got mirrors along the White House so he can see himself.
Ugh,
Yeah, I mean, you can't even make that weird stuff up.
you really
Meanwhile,
can't.
COVID's running rampant. It's the razor blade type. So if you have a sore throat, it usually comes with sore throat, body aches, soreness, and chills. No real fever, which is a plus. No vomiting, no headache. But that sore throat variant, California's kind of raging right now. And it's everywhere because we don't really talk about it anymore. The
Mm-hmm.
Health and Human Service Secretary or head, RFK Jr. doesn't really care about that. We
Not
saw him
interested.
all week. I mean, he's hiding TB cases. There's 3 active cases in Maine, but doesn't want anybody to know it. We talked about this 3.5 months ago, the bird flu, something else we're suppressing. Don't worry about it. And now our new distraction is with autism that Kennedy comes out and says that pregnant women taking Tylenol started all this.
Dude, this guy, fucking Kennedy, he's a real piece of work. A fucking heroin addict with a fucking worm in his brain, calling the shots, knows nothing, and he's a fucking grifter, man. He made a lot of money fucking with his antiviral bullshit, his books and his theories. Just another grifter. Even the Kennedys want nothing to do with him. And here's something I saw in the LA Times today that even some vulnerable seniors can't get COVID shots amid spiking cases.
Is that right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just. So, the Food and Drug Administration has only approved COVID-19 vaccines for those 65 and up, as well as younger people with underlying health conditions. Yet, seniors in some part of the country say they're being denied COVID vaccinations during a spike.
Well, and
This
it
is
really
just.
depends too, because in fairness, these companies, Walgreens, CVS, they don't want to get smacked down by the government, so they're not really sure what policy to follow. So you have
Yeah.
Oregon, Washington, California doing their own, uh, you know, taking care of their own vaccination schedule. They're going to work together. Illinois already talked about buying their vaccines so they can supply their people. Pennsylvania, New York, up the East Coast is also doing the same thing because you're on your own. And if you have
Well,
shitty leadership and you're in a red state who's now sending troops to other areas, maybe Chicago, you got a problem because they don't really care about you.
it's a big problem. And, now you're seeing that some of the, I think, northeastern states you had mentioned were talking about forming their own
Right.
scientific database. And
Correct.
I think that makes sense. I really think what we're seeing is the beginning of this country, this country just splintering.
Well, how could you not? I mean, this administration is stopping investigations into child exploitation and human trafficking so they can bust more immigrants. Like, uh, they're doing it right in front of us. They're taking away all the tells that these guys do. Like when Trump says, he said, sir, okay, you're lying. When they talk about being against pedophilia, they're lying. Like, it's just too much. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's not sustainable to your
Yeah.
point.
I mean, GOP stands for Gang of Pedophiles.
Guarding of pedophiles.
Huh?
Guarding of pedophiles.
Yeah. And
Whatever
many
you
of them are
want.
in that gang. It's disgusting. It really is. These people, they're fucking taking over and they're taking root. It makes me sick.
Somebody compared Trump being undercover with the FBI to Hegseth. He never had a drink in his life, but was rather acting as an FBI informant to catch crooks who were alcoholics. Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Trump diddled those kids because, he was undercover, had to really sell it. Didn't like it, but had to do it.
And the last thing I wanted to say on JFK and Tylenol is that autism was discovered in 1943. Tylenol didn't hit the markets till 1955. Somebody Googled it. It took about 3 minutes to find that out. It worries me that the guy who's head of this department doesn't know shit except what he thinks personally.
And it looks like maybe it's actually worrying some Republicans too, who are pretty upset about him going back on his word about what he was going to do, not even bothering, and in fact, going out of their way not to swear him in because they knew he was going to get up there and lie and speak shit. So if you're not under oath, it's fine.
I can't believe they didn't swear him in. That was like, are you kidding me?
That's a slap in the face. It's unbelievable.
Well, Trump didn't put his hand on the Bible either at his second swearing in either.
His hand would have just gone up in flames.
Sizzled.
Yeah.
One final point on that. The White House had a meeting on women's health. If you looked at the picture, not one woman was in that group. Not a single one. I mean, you'd think they'd have an opinion, but men really know better about women's health.
Yeah, the women don't need to be in here. They don't need to know anything.
What do they know?
What do they know? We know better.
In
We're
fact,
middle-aged white men.
Where education is pointless, I saw Barron left school. He's just going to get into the family business. What's he need school for? Either that or maybe acting, they said, because he's a tall guy.
He's a tall guy. He could play Lurch in the next reboot of The Addams Family. That'd be great.
That'd be kind of fun. And you'll notice, too, that they're no longer talking about the Venezuelan boat that they blew up, because around the world, and you don't hear it here, they're fucking outraged. It's an international...
You murdered 11 people for some bullshit story. Oh, that boat was full of drugs. What, maybe somebody had a fucking joint in their tackle box?
I bet they didn't.
Get the fuck out of here. That's just, yeah, dude, you blatantly murdered these people. You can't do that.
It was a show. J.D. Vance said he doesn't give a shit, okay?
Well, at least there's an honest answer. You got one thing that wasn't a line of bullshit. He does not give a shit. These are horrible people.
We have to get to the election. There's talk of Trump making a way where he doesn't have to have the election because he's pretty nervous. If you look at New Jersey, the governor poll, the Democrats up by 10%, 10 percentage points. It all looks bad when you do polling in any of these states. That's why they don't want you voting, essentially.
Oh, yeah, they know. They know that they're going to lose. Dude, you still can't convince me that they didn't lose the 2024 election.
Agreed.
Those numbers don't add up, and he was covered in flop sweat. I mean, that bullshit assassination attempt was ridiculous. It was insulting how badly it was even staged. Like, he really fucking half-assed it.
It was pretty bad. Yeah.
It was pretty bad. But I was talking to a guy the other day who had served in the military. He'd been in Vietnam. He was a government agent, so he carried a gun, new weapon safety. And he said, even through my training, we learned even a 45 passing that close is going to do damage. And this was not just a 45 caliber bullet. This was something from a high impact rifle. It's going to do damage. It's going to tear off part of that ear. It's going to, probably blow out your eardrum. Nothing with this guy. Fucking, a blood squib spatter going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think you'd be concussed too. But I don't really know the science part of it, but give me a break. Okay.
They said, "Sir, you're the bravest man in the world."
I'm going to need you to put that in my medical file.
Yeah. Done.
I mean, the people at the ER that day in Butler were like, not really a thing. He was demanding that they give him a Band-Aid. They were like, you look fine.
There's nothing here.
I need a Band-Aid.
Need a Band-Aid. Executive order. I've been wounded.
Have your Band-Aid. So they just keep pushing the envelope. I did see Trump said on Friday he was going to dismantle the White House Peace Vigil. It's the longest running protest in U.S. history. Hours later, the Secret Service showed up. They cleared Lafayette Park, which you may remember when they marched through Lafayette Park that Trump wanted to shoot them all. But he was told he couldn't because there were adults in the room. But once they shut down the area, they cleaned up the whole vigil. It's gone. So your longest running protest, peaceful, I might add, is no more because these guys don't want to hear anything from anybody.
Yeah, no, this is called fascism and authoritarianism. They are clamping down, and it's here. We're no longer the frog in the water heating up. The water's boiling. In case anybody's not noticing, whether it's through your paycheck, loss of your health care, the expenses you're paying now for your utilities and your food and your daily cost of living, it's fucking here.
hugely expensive. Everything's expensive, except for the
Everything's
people
expensive.
that have billions of dollars. And they're the people that we're getting advice from. And those are the people that we're admiring. And those are the people that really aren't doing anything for any of us.
Yeah, and the media has basically sold us out on a lot of this stuff too. I mean, call it what it is. This is a fascist takeover now. The shit that they're doing is illegal. It's undemocratic, and they don't care. They're getting away with it. They're doing whatever the hell they feel like doing.
Yeah, and those executive orders aren't law.
No, they're bullshit.
They're suggestions, more or less. So.
Well, and I saw that like the federal judges are fed up with the Supreme Court. They've had enough of this bullshit too.
Well, we said all along it's going to take the legal system to hold. The legislative branch right now is half a bunch of giant babies that are just enablers and
lackeys.
So you have, it's like 1.5 versus 1.5. You have half your legislative plus the judicial. They've got the executive plus the GOP patsies. So we'll see how it plays out. I saw today part of the happy ending was the marches that are going on in DC. It's not something they can stop.
Chicago.
It wasn't something that was planned. People came out and showed up because they're sick of the nonsense. Trump says, oh, I might even go out to eat. I had 5 people. Wait a minute. 8 people call me about going out to eat every day of the week. I mean, he just blathers on about lies. And the time that it takes you to listen to him, I'm sorry, it's a waste of your time. And he's already distracted you from what he's actually doing. Just to put numbers on it. The LA stunt when he brought in the National Guard cost $120 million. $120 million. $71 million for food and basic necessities. $37 million to pay them. $4+ million for legislative staples. I think that's his cut. $3.5 million for travel because you got to get these guys from a different state because nobody from California was going to do it. And then to demobilize, to send them all on their way, cost $1.5 million. $120 million just for a show.
And how could that have been spent better? Gee, I have no idea.
I could come up with 10 different ways. Instead, we listen to maximum lethality, not tepid legality. Violent effect, not politically correct. We're going to raise up warriors, not just defenders. Like,
shut up, fucking Pete. Just shut the fuck up. You're a fucking fake tough guy. You're full of shit. It's just unbelievable. I was talking to a guy the other day who had served in Vietnam. And he was saying, he spent the whole year of 1969 there. And he said at one point, they just realized that this was all bullshit. He's like, they would send us out on patrol. So we'd go out on the perimeter and we'd just sit there all day. We'd come back at nightfall and say, no, we didn't report anything, didn't see anything. He's like, it was just ridiculous. We saw what was going on. It was all bullshit. And he had seen some stuff. He'd, been in combat. And he's like, I was messed up for years.
I bet.
It's like I lost part of my hearing. It took me, several appeals to even, get anything from the VA, and they offered me $200. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not taking it. So, I mean, they don't give a shit about these people, the actual people that do the fighting. They have no real understanding of how horrific combat is and, how it should be a last resort. I mean, this guy loves to talk tough, but dude, why don't you go over to Ukraine and spend a day on the front lines and see how you like it? See how much your fucking tough guy rhetoric really amounts to. Because it's obscene. It's obscene. And it's an offense to anybody who's served. It's an offense to any of these people that serve that are trying to get their, that have been affected by it and trying to get their VA benefits, seeing them cut. I mean, the people that work at the VA that are seeing, the frustration or they're having their jobs cut. It's just a slap in the face. So this guy can spout this bullshit. It's
and
just,
the care that's denied to veterans and the list goes on.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Well, it's certainly disheartening, and it is a giant slap in the face, as you said, to people that actually served and had to see this stuff. I mean, there was a reason, the greatest generation came back and didn't talk about any of this stuff. They weren't bragging on and on. The shit that they saw, no human being should have to see unless that's your last resort. Instead, we're like, War Department, war.
Yeah.
Stop trying to show how tough you are. And, maybe just back it up by knowing you're that tough and protect yourself that way. Why do you got to go?
Yeah. Whatever happened to speak softly and carry a big stick?
Well, it turns out Buford Pusser killed his wife. But that's a different story.
Yeah, well, no, that was Teddy Roosevelt. But anyway, they said that he didn't kill his wife.
Oh, he sure didn't. Yeah, I
Buford
can get
Pusser
in a
did
lot
kill
of
his wife.
trouble.
And you know what? That movie sucked. But yeah, you see those films of, World War I, everybody marching off with, the banners waving and people cheering them on. And then you cut to a year later, the trenches, it was miserable. These guys were just cannon fodder. The losses were just incredible what these guys went through. Dude, and apparently, Whiskey Pete thinks war is a big day at the beach, a lot of glory and high-tech weapons. We're going to blow up a fishing boat. They just have no clue.
That trench warfare. I mean, just watch 25 minutes of some of those clips from those documentaries. It was like,
yeah,
I would have been tempted to take myself out. I don't think I could have done it between the rats and the cold and the lack of food and the constant shelling. I mean, come on, man. Nobody would sign up for that unless you had no idea what you were talking about.
Yeah, they put these guys through a meat grinder. It was a lost generation. It literally was. And, of course, it set the stage for the next World War, but it was just horrific. And, Germany and France both ended up executing soldiers. They tried them for cowardice when in reality it was just incompetence. You kept sending these guys over into a hail of machine gun fire. They were just slaughtered. The losses were appalling.
Unbelievable.
It was just short-sighted. It was ridiculous. And what were you fighting over? You were fighting over nothing. The three leaders involved, the Kaiser in Germany, the Tsar in Russia, and the Queen of England, dude, they were cousins. They were all related. That's how fucked up Europe was then under the old imperial system. These dynasties, the Habsburg dynasty, the Tsarist dynasty in Russia. It was just ridiculous. It was insane.
Well, are the Palestinians not cousins with the Israelis?
Yeah. Here's something. They're Semites, desert-dwelling people. A Semite is not a Jew. It's just the level of ignorance and just hatred. It's ridiculous. But they did a remake of All Quiet on the Western Front, which is a really good book. It's a tough read because it's so heartbreaking. Written by a German veteran of the war. They originally made it in the 30s. And it won an Academy Award here in the States. In Germany, when it was released, Goebbels sent out his little bully boys, his little SA stormtroopers. They would disrupt viewings, and they called it unpatriotic. And, you had like the Hitler Youth involved. And, 10 years later, a lot of those young people that were disrupting that viewing were going to die on the Eastern Front. They had no idea, these people. It's just ridiculous. But Netflix made a remake of it a couple of years ago, and it is fucking brutal to watch. It really is. It's horrific. It's like 2 hours of what you saw in the opening minutes of Saving Private Ryan. It was just a slaughterhouse. And again, these people that are in the rear with the gear and in command, sending people off to do these horrible things and to see these horrible things for who even knows why, what the objective is. They'll talk and talk and talk, and it's maddening.
I'm going to say there's money somewhere to be made.
A lot of money to be made.
Well, give Trump a bunch of ghost quarters, please.
Yeah, and let him spend them soon.
To that point, I'm going to move on to some sad news that's in the sports world today. I'm going to put up this photo here. This is Ken Dryden. He was part of the dynasty with the Canadians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always amazed when I see this photograph. This was his stance. That's what he did. But look how big he is compared to the net.
Yeah.
Granted, he's on skates, but when I move those nets, it's like
comes up to my chest.
High.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Comes up to my shoulders.
I'm just saying. So he passed away today. He was an amazing person. He was 78 years old. He was battling cancer. He won 6 Stanley Cups, 5 Vezina trophies, which is for the best goalie in the league. He went on to be president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I think, through early 2000s. He was also wrote a book.
Mm-hmm.
He retired in his early 30s. I think he was 31 because he was a lawyer, author, politician, and NHL executive. But it was kind of time for him to get out. Just because there was a quote here, and I think I have it. And you had talked about this before with like when the Islanders played Edmonton and they won that fourth one, and how Gretzky walked past and guys were just iced up, maybe sitting on their stool having a beer. They weren't, getting crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So in his fourth season after 3 Stanley Cups, a team has changed by success. It's stated by success is what he said. We have different expectations, and the motivation and feelings we get from a game have changed with them. Joy becomes obligation, satisfaction turns to relief, and the purpose of winning becomes less to win and more not to lose. And he basically was at the top of his game and was like, see you guys. And he bowed out and found other things to do. He got on with his life's work, as Chuck Noll would say.
Yeah.
But I thought he was interesting because, he was a Cornell grad. He was drafted by Boston. He was traded to the Canadiens, and that was an amazing team, obviously. He was 6'4". We went through our whole period of 80s and early 90s. They were small goalies.
Oh, yeah.
Now we're back to giant men in net, but this was one of the early ones. He was 6'4". And then he was a part of the Summit series, which was, I think, on Netflix. It was where the Canadians played the Russians.
Mm-hmm.
They played 8 games, 4 games here throughout Canada and 4 games in Moscow. And the Canadians won that last game to take that series. Rarely do you see a 8-game series. That was
pretty crazy.
But the anger and stuff was there. I mean, Bobby Clark broke a guy's ankle just slashing the crap out of him because they didn't like the Russians. They were not our friends.
They were not our friend. They weren't Canada's friend. And it was just 2 completely contrasting styles of hockey. I mean, the Canadians and the NHL at that time played like the dump and chase, the grind game, very physical. And the Russians play more of a game like we see now with, a lot of skating, a lot of like passing, a lot of puck movement, just
constant.
2 different styles. And, and there was no love lost between the countries. That was a big deal.
Yeah, it really was. And again, now I look at our country and we just are in love with Putin. It just makes you a little sick. I did want to mention, because this guy was pretty cerebral, but we always, Michael Jordan used to talk about being in the zone where like everything slows down. He had that game 7 against Utah, which was kind of heartbreaking for those that watched the Jazz those 2 years. But did he have the flu? Was he hungover? I don't know, but he was in the zone that day. And Ken Dryden had said something long ago of the same thing that didn't carry as much cachet, I guess. But he just said his conscious mind went blank. He felt nothing. He heard nothing. He would just watch the puck and his body would react and move. Like he didn't even feel it moving. He was just in the zone, which you told the story of Mean Joe as well.
Yeah, talking about the 74 AFC championship game out in Oakland. He's like, people talk about being in the zone. He's like, those people don't know what it's like. He's like, if you're lucky, you visit the zone maybe once. He's like, and we were in the zone that day. He's like, there's no way we were going to lose that game. Yeah. And they held the Raiders to like, I think 21 rushing yards. They just shut them down. And
that was the year that that the Raiders beat Miami, and they said the 2 best teams played today.
Yeah. That's what the commentator said. The 2 best teams. John Madden after the game said, when the 2 best teams in football get together, anything can happen. And this was a great game. And then at the Steelers team meeting the next day, Chuck Noll got up in front of that team and he's like, you know what? Super Bowl's in 2 weeks. The Super Bowl wasn't played yesterday. And he said, the best team in football is sitting right here in this room. And they had like those high school style desks with, the
wraparound desk. Yes.
Yeah. And they said Joe Green was so fired up. He like stood up and jumped up and that desk was like wrapped around his tree trunk thighs. And, there's no way that team was going to lose that game.
Yeah. And Noel wasn't big on chalkboard talk. That wasn't his thing.
They said it was totally out of character for him, which made it even more effective.
Yeah. Which was pretty cool. I mean, the other similarity with that was when they played the Oilers and the Oilers left their playbook behind One of the attendants found it and brought it to Chuck Noll. And they, in that time in your division, you played twice, much like today. So they knew they'd be playing him again. And Chuck Noll stood in front of the team and said, "Here's their playbook." Threw it in the trash can. He said, "It's not about what they're doing; it's about what we do." So,
yeah.
He was certainly true to that. And again, it goes to life lessons. I mean, there's no easy way to success necessarily, unless you've rigged the system like we're seeing today. But in general,
oh yeah, now cheating's encouraged and rewarded.
We think it's cool. Grifting's in, my man.
Yeah, see Belichick, Bill, great coach. I mean, no argument here. Very well prepared, very detail oriented, but not above a little cheatery.
Yeah, for sure. If you're not cheating, you ain't trying. But he took that to a new level.
Yeah, he did.
And we won't go into that after he got smoked. It was the first time anybody saw a North Carolina game the other night where nobody's ever seen a head coach's wife or girlfriend on the sideline during a game.
That was weird. Dude, yeah, that was strange. That whole thing is just strange, but it was funny. Somebody was writing about the debacle, that North Carolina game, and they compared it to. They said after the game, Belichick had to give his post-game wrap-up, post-mortem, in a room that was festooned with blue and white balloons, like they were anticipating a big celebration.
My God!
And they said it was like the '69 NBA Finals. They played it. It was the Lakers and the Celtics. And it was in the Fabulous Forum, and the Lakers had all these, purple and gold balloons up in the rafters, anticipating a big win in Game 7, and they lost. And after the game, the Celtics president and coach, Red Auerbach, was like, "What are you going to do with those fucking balloons now?"
Release the balloons.
Yeah, so there's Belichick in front of all those blue and white balloons that probably should have just been deflated and left hanging limply there.
Much like his team, and that didn't take very long. A half of football.
Yeah, it's crazy though, man. Like, he's finding out how the other half lives. You're rebuilding a program now with 70 players that you didn't have last year, and getting a taste of reality again.
And we saw that with Prime and Boulder with CU, brought in all those new players, and it takes time. It's not necessarily a reflection on poor coaching as much as really hard to get, and especially 70 new players to get them into your program. On your regiment, doing your schedule. It's going to take some time. No ill will, but really a weird move for a Hall of Fame coach to jump into that situation.
Really strange. I don't know if he's trying to prove something. I guess there's still bad blood between him and the Kraft family. So I saw that he's not allowing any Patriot scouts on campus.
Oh, wow.
Turning them away. Like, hey, they want to see film of our guys. It's available, but yeah, you're not coming out to see them.
Geez, that seems a little harsh.
And apparently, yeah, it just, I don't know. And apparently somebody, it didn't say who, was working out in the Patriots weight room, one of the players maybe, and they had a UNC t-shirt and they were asked to take it off.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's kind of petty. A lot of success, I guess. I don't know. Some bad blood there.
Share the credit. I mean, ownership was a part of that. Coaching was a part of that. The players were a part of that. It takes a village, man.
Yeah, it does. Team game.
Team game, yeah. At least the good ones. So I know the Ken Dryden wasn't a happy ending, but I did find it fairly interesting. Davey Johnson, who was a second baseman for the Orioles, but was also the 1986 Met head coach or manager, he passed away as well today. So
yeah,
not great news, but we'll be looking for that third person. I don't know how he managed the Strawberries and the Goodens and the Keith Hernandez. I mean, Hernandez, we won't even get started on that, but
man, Lenny Dykstra.
Dykstra all juiced up. Then Dykstra getting hiring private detectives to look in on the manager or on the umpires, and then when he's not getting the strikes and balls that he wants, mentioning he knows a little something. I mean, what's wrong with that guy, man?
They said that guy was barely literate. Literally, he could barely read. But I mean, they swept the Pirates that year. Pirates were in the old National League East.
Good team, man.
That was a really good team. They were on. And Jeff Pearlman wrote a really good book. I have yet to read the whole thing. I want to, though. And the bad guys won. I mean, there was an incident where a bunch of those guys got into a brawl. I guess they were playing in Houston. They got into a brawl outside a nightclub there. It was a freewheeling bunch. was like the old Oakland Raiders. After they won, they played like an epic extra inning game in the NL Championship against the Astros. Went to extra innings, and after they won, they said it was just chaos on the team plane. They started drinking before they got on the plane. The wives were on the plane with them. People started throwing food, tearing up the seats. It was just chaos.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Well, that was the end of their run, basically.
Yeah, I think I can't remember if it was Gooden or Strawberry. I think it was Gooden was so hungover after that after the World Series that he overslept, couldn't even make it to the parade.
Yeah. Yeah, those guys were not good for each other. That's for sure.
Yeah, a lot of talent on that team, though. It was impressive, but
oh my God, yeah.
Dynasty that failed to launch.
Never again. Yeah, and I was a Pirate fan, so it was always about muck the Fets. Okay.
Yeah.
And the Pirates did get pretty good after that. So
Mhm.
anyway, no happy ending today, other than the people in Chicago have come out. The people in DC have really come out. This is across the board. People just tired of not being accounted for, not having a say, and really just being bullied and pushed around and being taken from. So it's time. When it comes to your town, you better be prepared, because that's what it's going to take.
It is time, and I know there's another No Kings rally scheduled nationally. I'm not sure exactly what the date is, but we'll put that out there.
Well, and no kings aside, anytime the labor movement gets together, anytime you're getting workers out there, it's important for everybody to join in.
It is, man. We're at a point where you can't be on the sidelines anymore. You can't just sit back. Like we always say, there's a thin veneer of normalcy, right?
Yep.
The NFL season's opening up.
College football,
the baseball divisions are coming down to the wire, but you've got that thin veneer of normalcy, but underneath it, man, there is fucking a rotting foundation, rapidly rotting. And so we have to be all in.
Yes. And for Saturday, let's keep it a little lighter, Billy. But yes, pay attention, check your sources, and support. It's important.
Yeah. And enjoy your Saturday.
Yeah. Enjoy your Saturday. I'm going to go enjoy this beautiful weather. Maybe we'll catch up later.
All right. Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan. All right. Thank you for your time today.
Always a pleasure. Good job.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Maybe.